go ahead and start then, Ms. Parza. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Today it is March the 9th, 2021. It is approximately 5:38 in the afternoon. If we can have a roll call being taken, please.
Juan Avila.
Here.
Mike Kazin. Absent.
He's calling absent.
Rosie Centeno Hinojosa.
Present.
Alejandra Cadena. Information. Valentin Escamilla.
Present.
Yvette Contreras. Absent.
Absent.
Thank you. So do we have enough for a quorum? Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, before we continue, I would like for everybody to please take a moment of silence, each in your own way. Let's don't forget about all the people that we've lost due to this pandemic that we have been going through. It's hit our houses closely, it hit our friendships. So please take a moment of silence at this time. Thank you. At this time, we'd like to continue on with the meeting. I see that we have minutes, approval of minutes for January 12, 2021. Has anybody had a chance to go over them? And if there's any comments, please do so at this time.
I have read them all. Since I was not present in that meeting, I would like to see if I can move to approve them.
There's a motion to approve. Can I have a second?
Aye.
Motion by Ms. Centeno, second by Mr. Escamilla. Any discussion? Motion carries. Okay. Public comments. Citizens are required to fill out an online witness card no later than 5 p.m. and can be found at HBS and MetroTransit.com News Info Public Meeting Notices. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No more than 3 persons will be allowed to speak on any side of an issue. Speakers may not pass the minutes to any other speaker. Comments should be relevant to the city businesses delivered in professional matter. No derogatory remarks will be permitted. Do we have any public comments today, Mrs. Esparza?
No, we do not, Mr. Avila.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and go on with the district reports. District reports are concerning paratransit needs in Laredo. El Metro's current LIFT program complies with FTA requirements for a complementary paratransit services as demand responses, share ride services, promote and disseminate services information to the entire service area. Do we have any comments from the District 1? District 2? District 3? District 4? District 5? 6? 7? 8, or from the mayor? Okay, we have none, so move. Staff reports and communications. Mrs. Parza, would you like to take over, please? Hello?
Sorry, I believe you're on mute.
Sandy?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, are you able to see the reports?
Yeah, I printed mine out because
And-
remember, I'm not on WebEx.
Yes. Okay, so for the month of February, our total ridership was 1,377 riders compared to last year, which was 3,363 riders. For the cancellations report, we had a total of 565 cancellations. 423 of those were advanced cancellations. I'm sorry, 360 were late cancellations and 63 were 24 hours in advance. We had a total of 117 riders that were no-shows and 25 that were able to cancel their appointments through the phone system.
We have a lot of background noise.
Got it.
If I'm going to ask if it's the board members, I'm going to ask if you're not speaking at this time to please mute yourself so we can hear Mrs. Esparza correctly. If we have any questions, let's go ahead and unmute ourselves. That way we can listen up real well. I'm sorry, Mrs. Esparza, you were saying?
Okay, so I'm going to go over the mobility report where it's going to show the total trips for a wheelchair customer. For the month of February, there was a total of 20 riders. And currently, right now, we have a total of 204 passengers that are, their mobility aid is a wheelchair. I'm going to go to the next report, which is the fixed route mobility device boarding report. For the month of February, we had a total of 113 riders. For the end of the month, registered customers, we have currently right now a total of 654 customers. For the month of February, we were able to register two clients. And the next report is the budget report. That would be Mr. Villarreal.
Good afternoon, Mr. Villarreal.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the budget report for the month of for the March meeting, which is the totals for the month of March, under our let me start from the top. Under our operations, support services, administrative and maintenance budget, our budget for the year is 36,193. Our year-to-date expenses is 14,542, and we currently have a balance of 21,651. Fuel and lubricants, we do have an yearly budget of 163,196. Our expenses year-to-date have been 52,202, and our balance is still 110,000 with $994. For insurance, we have a total annual budget of 131,000. Our year-to-date expenses have been 75,694, and our balance is 55,306. For
Do you
information
think we're going to
technology,
have enough, Mr.
I'm sorry?
Villarreal? Do you think we're going to be okay with insurance for the rest of the year?
But, I mean, we're not even halfway throughout the
I
budget.
know, and
So
it's already 55,000 spent.
yeah,
That's what I'm looking at.
So it all depends. I mean, as the fiscal year goes on, we'll keep seeing, and if we have to, we'll just reallocate funds in order to meet the need for the cost.
Okay.
Under IT, our budget is 33,185. Our year-to-date expenses are 8,445, and our balance is 24,740. And for personnel, our year-to-date budget, our yearly budget is 1,412,748. Our expenses year-to-date have been 520,175, and we still have a budget of 892,573 for the remainder of the fiscal year.
Okay. Any questions to Mr. Villarreal's report? Okay, Mr. Villarreal, I do have a question. As Ms. Centeno was saying, on the insurance, what happened there that we just literally were like already out?
It's just insurance premiums. I don't know if Ms. Sanmiel wants to elaborate a little bit more on the rising insurance costs, Ms. Sanmiel.
Yes, good afternoon. At this point, sir, I will not have the specifics. I know that throughout the different fiscal years, insurance costs go up, and unfortunately, our budget remains the same. So at the beginning of the fiscal year, pretty much the budget gets balanced with over the board cuts and reductions. And then basically it is for us management to work with the budget as allocated for the transit system. And then throughout the year, we'll be doing transfers to, like Gustavo mentioned earlier, to balance out the budget. So that's pretty much what is going to end up happening here with this situation with the insurance. And pretty much you will see, and there might be some other accounts that halfway into the budget cycle or 2/3 into the budget cycle, we end up having to reallocate some of the funds to make that balancing. So at the end of the
Mr.
fiscal
Miguel.
year, everything is covered.
Okay, Mr. Miguel, so you mean to tell me that we don't get a set amount for every month for the insurance? Is that what's happening?
Wait.
No, what I'm saying is we get an allocation of the budget at the beginning of the fiscal year, and it's for the entire fiscal year. It's not by
I understand.
month.
I understand that. But what I'm asking is that we don't actually know how much is paid by month, every month. That's why we're
Insurance?
going to be probably short.
Yes, insurance rates can fluctuate. It depends if there's a new contract.
On a month by month?
No, I mean like before the fiscal year starts. It could have changed. I know insurance has recently gone up, so we budget so much for the fiscal year, and if there's any insurance premium hikes or a new contract negotiated like within the insurance, they do go up, so we end up spending a little bit more.
I understand. But what I'm asking, Mr. Villarreal, is that, like, if when I had a car, I would ask the insurance to give me, the amount for the whole year. That's what I'm asking. And I wouldn't be short because I knew how much I had to pay throughout the year. And I'm not talking about fiscal year. I know you work on the fiscal year. We people who don't work on the fiscal year, it's a year to year. My question is, you don't have a set amount of how much insurance you're going to pay every month for that fiscal year? Is that what's happening?
No, we have a contract for the entire fiscal year, Ms. Centeno, and like I said, I do not have that information at this point. We'll be more than glad to bring that for review on the next meeting.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much. I would like to know how much we're set to pay every month.
No
Okay,
problem.
can we put that?
Because I know that they go up, and we don't know when. But I think at the beginning of the fiscal year, we should know how much we're going to pay for the entire fiscal year.
Yes, and we do. We'll provide that report in the next meeting.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Ms. San Miguel. I mean, Ms. San Miguel and Ms. Centeno. Mrs. Parza, could we put
Thank
that
you.
for the next meeting, please, on the agenda? It's requested by Ms. Hinojosa Centeno.
Yes, would you like to make a motion?
Ms. Centeno?
Yes, I would like to have it for next meeting, that we are provided with the amount that's to be paid every month under the insurance contract.
Okay, we
I
have a
so
motion
move
on
to
the
that
floor.
effect.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Mr. Avila, I noticed that Ms. Alejandra Cadena has joined the meeting while Mr.
Thank you.
Villarreal was going over the budget report. So I'm not sure you want to go back and mark her present.
Yes, we'll do that. Thank you, Mrs. Parza.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Cadena. Thank you for joining us. Can you
Yes,
hear
hello.
me? Ms. Cadena?
Yes, can you hear me? I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yes, we have a motion on the floor right now by Mrs. Rosie Centeno. Ms. Centeno, can you repeat the motion, please?
Yes, that I would like for the next agenda to have something to do to tell us how much is what we had, or how much we would pay for every month during the fiscal year for our insurance. So we won't have this stumbles at the middle of the fiscal year, to make sure we have enough money to cover it.
Okay. Can I have a second on that, please? By Ms. Cadena or Mr. Escamilla?
I second it.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Rosie Centeno. We have a second by Mr. Escamilla. Pending a report from Mrs. San Miguel due to the insurance purposes that we're questioning on the budget and flexibility of payments going, that it looks like it's going up instead of going down for us because we're running out of funds all of a sudden. Any discussion? Everybody that is in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you. Motion carried. Go ahead, Ms. Esparza, next item.
Okay, the next report will be provided by Ms. Monica Garcia. It is the El Metro Outreach Report.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Garcia. You're online with us?
Yes, good afternoon. Monica Garcia for the record. We have started off again, continuously dropping off information as far as the lift services. We also drop off fixed route services, information, and so on. But I also have a presentation that I can show you if you can stop sharing the screen, Sandy, so I can show them the other one.
Yes, give me a minute.
Ms. Esparza,
Yes.
very quickly, I believe I am in a call-in. Mr. Valentin Escamilla is in a call-in. Ms. Centeno, I think, is in a call-in, so it's very difficult for all of us to actually even see it. I would
I
prefer.
can go over it, Mr. Avila, if you like. I can go over it and then we can send it forward to you when we do that as well.
Okay, if you can do that perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, so right now we are continuing with the delivering of packages to identified places that we know that might have a lift riders that might use our services, but also we are doing the Connecting You to Places campaign. Ms. San Miguel did briefly talk about it in the last meeting, and we went ahead and started off, sending out notices to the Laredo Morning Times. Here we already have the one we sent out and the date and everything. It also has a communication as far as the Metro Outreach update, and it reads as follows. The Metro Administration continues to pursue outreaching efforts to inform the City of Laredo community of current transit, fixed route, and circulator, and paratransit and lift services. Even during the past months under pandemic conditions, El Metro staff has made safe outreach efforts to deliver information to the most vulnerable population. As part of our ongoing outreach efforts, a number of agencies, clinics, and some medical offices have been visited to deliver information on paratransit services, eligibility process, fixed route information, parking garage services, and most recently, bus pass information is also included in our informational packages. To further reach out to potential eligible riders for paratransit services, the Connecting You to Places campaign is set to reach out to the community via newspaper advertisement, both on English and on Spanish local publications. Objective is to generate awareness of available services to meet the transportation needs of eligible individuals. Our A-Lift vans and all of our buses are ADA compliant with technology that assists the safe boarding of passengers. The safety of our passengers, our employees, and that of the community is our overriding priority. El Metro is readily available to assist our local seniors and most vulnerable population with their transportation needs via Lyft paratransit services. To close the first Connecting You to Places campaign, a direct mail-out effort will take place to ensure that every resident in the city of Laredo is fully aware of current transit and paratransit services. And that was something Ms. San Miguel did right. Obviously, we also did send out the El Metro Enforces Federal Mask Order press release, where we are mandated by TSA to continue to have people that board any of our Metro vehicles to be wearing a face mask, and that is done through the federal level. So they sent an order.
I've been advised of that.
I'm sorry?
I was advised of that.
Okay, so.
I'm a rider on the van.
Okay, so we are continuously enforcing this because we have to, and it's something that also we are thankful for because it also helps us to maintain our riders safe. So with that,
Yes.
so with that, I also have the pictures that Mrs. Parsa has been working with Liquid Studio for the postcards that will be in English and in Spanish that will be sent out front and back, English and Spanish, to all of our zip codes, which would be 78040 all the way to 6, and the residents in their homes. But how I asked for the quote was asking them to give me one person that lives in that address, and we're mailing it out to them, because if we mail it out to every single resident that lives in, per se, in my instance, 2703, they would have to send it out to 5 people that live there. So we're trying to at least access one person so we can have a direct contact with them and a direct mail. Obviously, the way we're working the postcards is being very, an information that is to the point, and where they can call and where they can access the information as well. So that is the postcards in English and in Spanish.
And what if you just put, like, for example, Hinojosa family or Familia Hinojosa?
Because some of the addresses, Centeno Hinojosa, have different last names. They don't all have the same.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, I understand.
Okay, so, and then we're also already using our website. We do have a slider in the beginning of our website where it does have our campaign that we're working on. We also did it when you hit the live services, it also gives you the information on the campaign. And that's what we've been working on. So, I mean, just stay tuned for more of this outreach efforts to continue. But like I said, we are, now that we are going to be a little bit more open, the city is opening up in stages. We're going to have more accessibility to be able to visit more places. So that is my report.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Monica, appreciate it. Mrs. Parta?
Yes, let me go to the next report. The next report would be the El Metro Monthly Maintenance Status Report. I'll just go over the report for the LIF fans. The total miles traveled was 12,424 miles for the month of February. The total percentage of the performance maintenance inspections were at 100%. We did not have any road calls for the month of February, and there was no miles traveled between road calls as well. And then that would sum up the report section, Mr. Avila.
Okay, ma'am. Any questions on the report that Mrs. Parta has presented to us so far? Can I have a motion to approve the report, please?
I so move.
I have a motion on the floor to be approved. Can I have a second? I guess we're muting ourselves, and that's why we're having communication problems. Can I have a second, please?
I second that. I'm having trouble with my mic.
Did you hear a second, Mrs. Parta?
I was the one that said it. It's because I'm having trouble with my mic.
Okay, let me repeat the motion on the floor. Can I have a motion to approve the report that was presented by us by Mrs. Garcia and Mrs. Esparza tonight?
I so move.
Aye.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. We have a second by Mr. Escamilla. Any further discussion? Motion carries. Okay, so we're there. I believe we're at the number 7, discussion with possible recommendation on the PSA promotion of a lift paratransit services. And number 2, discuss the I'm sorry?
Mr. Avila, the reports were approved. The next communication item is number 6, which is the new open meetings rules. That item was posted by Ms. San Miguel.
Okay, let me, hold on, let me go back then, because this is what I had on mine.
I'm not sure if it's on the next page. I don't know if you have it on the second page or in the back.
I believe he may be using the previous agenda based on the minutes. I think he read for January 9th instead of February 9th, so that might be it.
Oh, okay.
So if it was number 6, yeah, because on number 6, on my page, I have staff reports and communications, and on the other one, I have staff reports and communications as well. So,
which packet do you currently have right now? Because I believe there was an error on the email. They resent the March. I'm sorry?
I have Tuesday, February the 9th.
No. Yeah, that was, there was an error when they sent the email, so they sent the wrong package. They resent another email, which the March 9th, 2021 package. Were you able to print that one?
Oh, boy. Let's see if we can get it here.
I have number 6 of the staff reports. Then I have number 7.
That's the same thing that I have, so I don't think I got the other one, Miss.
I'll ask Ms. Aguilar later, but I can go ahead and read the item. For the March 9th, 2021 packet, item number 6 under the reports and communication item is open meeting rules, Mr. Avila.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon again, Claudia San Miguel. Just real quick, there was a presentation by Mr. Alan Bojotes that was scheduled for elected officials in the city council, and then city directors in relation to new open meetings act regulations or rules. I'm pretty sure that there will be some training provided, whether it be a webinar or some other ways may be made available for all the different committees of the city. So I just wanted to bring it up because these rules are already into effect. And for the most part, the regulations remain the same. They just brought up some clarifications on and what is considered a walking quorum, and they make several they gave several examples, but one of the warnings or most pressing concerns, and because I see that happens from time to time with PAC committee members, where we will send an email and then one of the PAC members replies, and then a second one replies, and then a third one replies on that same link of emails. That constitutes what is called a walk-in quorum. So I guess the word of caution is to cease that practice because that will be in conflict with the Open Meetings Act. The same thing applies for text messaging. So again, I'm pretty sure there are going to be trainings to follow, and otherwise this is also available online for any of the members that would like to be informed as to what those new considerations are. But my word of caution here is to cease with the replying on a group email where all the PAC members are in, because that will be a violation. And also group text messages are not allowed anymore. So if you all need to communicate, to do it on a one-to-one basis, but not group text messages. And my understanding again is also any conversation that pertain in this case is there going to be communications per se with one PAC member, and then that PAC member talks to another one, and then they reconvene, that will be considered a walk-in quorum. So again, I'm not the expert on these rules. I'll be more than glad to share the information to you all in the package so you can all review it, read it. Again, I'm pretty sure this is all available online. And I want to say that later on, the city will make this available for all the committee members, the different committee members that need to be trained on this. I just wanted to bring this up to light because I don't want for any of our PAC members to run into a situation where, again, communication is being held and might be in violation of this. Sandy, so it could be included on the minutes for you to review them, within your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miguel. Mr. Miguel, Mr. Esparza?
Mr. Avila, that's the end on the reports and communications. The next item would be the items for discussion with possible recommendations. The first item is clarification on committee absences, excused and unexcused. We have Mr. David Arredondo, the assistant, he's one of the assistant city attorneys. He's currently present right now in the meeting to clarify any questions that you all might have. This was an item that Mr. Kazin requested last month in regards, and yourself, Mr. Avila, in regards to committee absences.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Arredondo, for joining us in the, I guess you can say, after 5 o'clock hours. The question that we had last month was, due to the COVID that we had, that we're going through, one of our board members happened to have been sick through the day of the meeting. And I wanted to know, are we able to excuse those absences? And second, like myself, I was trying to communicate. I was in and out of the meeting because of the communication. Like right now, I wanted to do it through WebEx, but I couldn't. There's two other ones that tried to do it through WebEx, but we couldn't. But myself, last month, I was in and out. They could hear me all of a sudden, then all of a sudden they couldn't hear me. Would that count against me or not?
Okay, so as far as excused versus unexcused absences, I actually looked into kind of the committee, the priority and procedures. The city of Laredo has a priority and procedures manual for committees and boards and things like that, but they're sort of default rules. And more recently, the city has passed an ordinance, I believe it was 2018, where the attendance requirements for all committees, if you don't have something in your bylaws or in an ordinance that states otherwise, the new rule is just if you have 4 absences, whether they're excused, unexcused, within the course of 1 calendar year, that's an automatic forfeiture of your position on the board. So I think that kind of takes care of the first question.
So, okay. So if correct me if I'm wrong, what I just heard from you. So if one of the board members is tested positive COVID and is sick, he is not excused?
He may be excused.
He is not excused? Correction.
Well, yeah, I mean, he may be excused, and the board, I mean, may choose to excuse him. The only issue is now it's going by counting 4 absences within the calendar year, whether they're excused or not.
Well, because last month I was sick and I was told that I was excused.
Yes, yeah, I understand. I think those were the rules before. All I can tell you is that now that there's an ordinance and we've done away with, it used to be you could only have 3 unexcused before. If you had 4 unexcused, then you're out. The city tried to simplify it. The new ordinance is you get 4, whether they're excused or not. If they're 4 within a year, that's an automatic forfeiture of your position.
My question is, was mine excused last month or no? Because I was told I was excused.
Okay,
because I had the COVID.
Yeah, if we want to go into excused versus unexcused, there's not really any guidelines in the City of Laredo documents. What I can tell you is that in other situations, I mean, obviously things like sicknesses, doctor's appointments, visits, even family functions, things that you know that are going to be ahead of time that you inform us of, those can all be excused.
I understand. I understand those ones. But
Yes.
I'm asking for particularly what happened to me last month, why I couldn't why I couldn't attend or be in the meeting because I was sick. I still had the COVID.
Yes, and I believe
That's my question.
sicknesses should be excused. That's covered, but it will still count as an absence towards those 4.
Okay. So was it an excuse absence for me last month?
Yes, it should.
It's an excuse.
But it will count towards the
Okay.
4 absences.
Okay. I understand, but I still wanted to know if I was excused last month or no.
As far as it may have been eligible for an excused absence, I'm not sure whether or not anybody made a motion to excuse it. I have reviewed the minutes of that one.
There was no, it was brought up, Mr. Arredondo, but there was no motion as to what would constitute an excused and unexcused because we did inform the committee that there's nothing that states what constitutes an excused or unexcused absence. An absence is an absence.
Yeah, and as far as practically how it's going to affect the board, I mean,
I understand. You're absent, and you're not excused. That's the bottom line, right?
now basically that's the rule. You get 4, whether they're excused or not. If you have 4 within a year, that's the forfeiture.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then you were going to answer the second part to the question?
Yeah, the second part, can you go ahead and repeat that second one just so I can respond to it directly?
Okay. Like I said, I did log in. I was having failures. I called in, they couldn't hear me. Then I went back on the WebEx and I couldn't hear them. It was a back and forth situation where I gave up. I mean, I was trying, but I couldn't get through them.
No, in that situation, when you're making an attempt and it's just a technical issue, I don't think that should be counted as an absence.
Okay, thank you. Any questions now that we have legal on the phone with us in our meeting? Any question that any board member has for him?
Yes, I have a question. Yes, Mr. Avila, I have a question. He means to tell us that they do excuse that and they don't excuse because we were sick of the pandemic? I don't think that that's correct, Counselor.
I have another question. As a member of the board, do we need to know information like, for example, what we were talking about earlier, like the insurances and all that? Like, do we need to know, like, what role do we take in getting information about how much is paid and like, are those things that we?
Well, that's public information, ma'am.
Yes,
It comes up in the meetings.
That's why I'm asking if.
I believe Ms.
We
Almeida
are shared
has
that
a comment to add.
Yes.
Yes, good afternoon. In response to that, the scope or the purpose of the Paratransit Advisory Committee, to my understanding, the original bylaws, which is the only ones that we had, do not incorporate anything related to budget. Actually, I was the one that volunteered this information as a result to some questions brought up years back in reference to the budget. So it was supposed to be just like Ms. Centeno mentioned, it is public information, so definitely we do not have any issue sharing this data. But as the value of discussing it in this particular Transit Advisory Committee is very limited. I mean, the scope of the committee is to bring about the transit needs. Are we in compliance with federal guidelines, which we are, and things of that nature. So that's the reason that how we ended up discussing these matters here really do not pertain to the committee, but really does not really add a lot of value to this committee.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure because I'm kind of confused too.
Right.
Our role here is, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, Mr. Miguel, the reason I brought up that is because I wouldn't want for you to be in a bind 2 months before we finish the year, the fiscal year, and there's no money for the insurance. I mean, that's a big no-no. That's the reason why I brought that up. Because I think we should know that you're in compliance with everything, because that's part of our responsibility. It's just like when we have a car.
Like I stated, I mean, that we have no problems presenting that information, and that definitely is the duties of the management here to ensure that the entire transit system is sustainable, not only insurance, but everything else. And that's what we do. Those are the management duties and responsibilities to comply. So for sure, we answer to council, we answer to city management, and it is our duty to keep a balanced budget on every single account.
I understand that. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from. It's just like us, if we have a car and we don't have insurance, that's a big no-no. And it's the same thing for any public transportation vehicle. We need to have the insurance. That's one of the most important things.
And I don't
in my opinion.
I don't think that they will run into that situation because I think they can balance out the budget. But if the request that you did, I think it's within, it's acceptable to find out, exactly whether the rates went up.
I think so too. Because we have a responsibility, Mr. Avila, for to be in compliance with everything we have to. There's counselor there. Maybe the council can tell us.
Yes, ma'am.
I do think that's item number 2, Ms. Centeno. There is an item that says scope and purpose of committee. I don't know if you guys want to move on to that item.
Yes. I think that was the one that I brought up last time, or am I mistaken?
Yes, you did, Ms. Elena.
Okay.
If Mr. Avila, would you like for me to read out loud the next item?
Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is orientation workshop regarding the scope and of our purpose of the committee. And that was also brought up in the meeting in February.
Okay. I was trying to look at the notes because I saw a note from here from February that I was looking at. And I was wondering if by any chance maybe the dates was just not put correctly, and maybe it's the report that I'm supposed to be reading, but no, I don't think so. Go ahead, Mrs. Esparza.
So, Mr. Avila, that item was brought up by the members that were present in the February meeting. They were not concerned. I'm not going to say concerned. They had questions as to what their role is in the committee. And so that's why we had also asked Mr. Arredondo to attend the meeting and answer any questions that the committee members might have.
Okay, and on that, I'll say, I'll repeat myself. We have Mr. Redondo on the line. If any committee member would like to ask any questions pertaining to what is your role on this committee, please do so at this time. Feel comfortable to ask him. That's why he has volunteered his time to be here with us. That way we won't be shooting back and forth and miscommunication between each other or the staff, administration, and we'll have the correct answer.
Yes.
If you need, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, what I meant to ask earlier, when it was an example with the whole insurance deal. I didn't mean to offend anybody with my question, but what I meant was, do we have like any role when it comes to you all's budget, like, or is it something that, because I know, like, for example, city council, it's just an example, like they take care of like the city budget, right? But do we have any type of role with the budget that you all handle? Like, is that any part of our responsibility? That's just what I wanted to know.
San Miguel can oblige to that, but no, we don't. We approve the reports that are presented to us.
Oh, okay.
We do not have anything to do with their budget. We do not say, oh, you can allow so-and-so or do this or do that. No, that's not beyond our control. That's totally not in our control.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and Mr. Avila, if I may, I would like to read out, and you all have copies of this, but I would like to read it out as far as the general powers and duty of the Paratransit Advisory Committee. And it reads, the Paratransit Advisory Committee is an ad hoc committee created to assist and advise the City Council and LTMI staff regarding the implementation of paratransit eligibility and certification program and transit services for persons with disabilities and elderly. That's it. That's pretty much the general powers and duties. And like I said, you all have copies of this.
Yes, the only thing I'm going to ask on that, please, Mrs. Parza, if y'all can, well, I don't know about the other committee members, but if y'all can send me the correct package for this month, if you can send that to me or email it to me, I would appreciate it. That way I can go over it myself. And if any other board member has any questions or, has any doubts, please read into it also as well. Please look at the bylaws as well. I mean, that's something that is very important to look at.
Mr. Avila, excuse me, with all due respect to the city, to all the city staff, I know what she's telling us, but then why do they want us here for? If we have nothing to do. I mean, just say yes, yes, yes. Is that what they want, a yes, ma'am? I mean, we're here over an hour and a half or 2 hours. We want the best for them and for our clients, our people. That's what we want. Or that's my main concern. And you know, Mr. Avila. And I think Ms. San Miguel and Mr. Esparza know that too.
Well, and again, I'll echo your words. I think in past, maybe a couple of meetings back.
About a year ago, I understand.
I make the same statement, if we were going to be bubbleheads, and I don't know if you recall that. And
yeah, I do. I recall it.
Okay.
I mean,
And
then we're here just for yes ma'ams and yes ma'am. That's it. We have to yes ma'am everything. That's the way it looks, or that's the way it seems.
Okay. I think it's in the best interest, honestly, to everybody have a virtual meeting with the whole administration, and maybe Mr. Arredondo can be present as well. And, you know, let's go back at it again and see what exactly is that we are
What we
allowed
can do
to
and what we can't
and are
do.
not allowed to do. I'm
Correct.
sorry?
Correct. You're
I'm
right.
sorry.
You're correct about it.
What are we allowed? What we are allowed to do or not. That way, everybody is comfortable. What I don't want is the new board members that are on board feel disgruntled and say, you know what, this committee is just, you know, a waste of time, and we're going to go back to step one again. It's been very hard for us.
I understand.
It's
I
been a
fully
very hard
understand
time.
you, sir.
It's been very hard to get a committee going because they drop out for one reason or another, or they just don't show up anymore. And then we're here.
Well, I think that these are some of the reasons why we can't have a committee member that can stand the number of years that we've been there. You know what I mean, Mr. Avila?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. San Miguel, do you have any words, any input on this?
Mr.
She already told us.
I'm basically reading off the bylaws, answering the questions, and that's basically, you know, what I can do. I mean, I'm a bit confused as to why, you know, I sense something that is not being said, and that's hard for me to try and read as to what the concerns are from you all. I mean, the quorum is here. The information is presented. I mean,
But we have questions on the information presented.
I'm concerned about the perception of because it's being said out loud. I mean, there is a perception of some members that this is a bobblehead committee or the last, when that's definitely the last thing that me personally would like to see. I mean, every committee member has an opportunity to report on the district, what your concerns are for your district that you're representing. And unfortunately, we can go back to meetings where no reports are provided by any of the districts. So we're here to respond to you on any concerns or any requests addressing paratransit needs, ADA services. We're here for that. We've been here, at least I've been here for the past 8 years. Every meeting, quorum, no quorum, we're here. So, I mean, really, I mean, anything that we can do to improve the transit system, that is our duty. That's what we do every day. Every day, that's what we do. So for sure, we're here for you. We're here to answer any questions. We provide information that can help you provide us with leadership to better the transit system for the paratransit and elderly and disabled population in your districts. So we're here for you. We're here to provide as much information as we can. Hopefully we're not, you know, putting you in a situation where you feel like you're being a bobblehead or anything of the likes, because believe me, we have nothing but respect for all of you, especially the ones that have been here the longest. So again, we're here for you. We're here for the committee. We're here for the community. So please let us know how we can help. Again, every district member has the opportunity to come back to us with specific requests, with specific recommendations. And that's the part of the agenda that is called district reports. So by all means, we're here to, again, answer, provide, support any needs, specific need to the district or citywide for sure. So maybe, I don't know, when time allows, we can meet in person. That might facilitate the communication for sure. But it's probably going to be another couple of months based on all the conversations today and over the past week with city council and basically the health authorities here on the radio. So, I mean, again, we're here. Anything that might be needed, we can assist. Uh, like I said, I've been here 8 years, and I pretty much attended every single meeting there is. So that's pretty much that, Mr. Avila.
Thank you, Ms. San Miguel. Mrs. Parza, would you like to continue, please?
Yes, I will move on to the third item. The third item is discuss possible modification of PAC monthly meeting, date and time. This was also talked about in previous agendas. It's been tabled because I believe Mr. Kazin had wanted all the committee members to be present and have a vote on it.
And again, we're short by Mr. Kazin this afternoon, so I will ask the committee members to please let's table this once and for all, one more time, just to try to make sure that everybody is in the same boat, that we keep them as is at the same time and on the same date. I know we've talked about it before, but that's why we table it, and I'm asking for it to be tabled once again. So,
Do you need a
can I have a
motion?
motion on that?
I so move to that.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Mr. Escamilla. Any discussion? Everybody is in agreeable, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. We'll go ahead and table it. Again, Mrs. Esparza, thank you so much. I'm sorry, but I'd rather have everybody, like Mr. Kazin stated, on the record. That way nobody will feel like, well, you didn't count on my vote, you didn't ask me. So hopefully next month we'll all be back together again.
Okay, Mr. Avila.
Thank you, ma'am.
The next item would be executive session. And then the
And I
last,
believe we don't have anything. We don't have anything for executive session, is that correct?
I believe so.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And then the next item would be to
Moving on.
adjourn the meeting.
Okay, before adjourning the meeting, I would like to make the following statement to all the board members that are on right now, and especially to Ms. San Miguel and the administration. Even though it sounds like, there's some, I don't know, maybe some information that has not been discussed, or maybe has not been brought up to light, or I don't know, maybe we can take care of this hopefully by the next meeting in the near future. But I will say this, and to all the board members especially, I want to thank Ms. Sandy Esparza. We have a page on Facebook, Laredo COVID-19, that I work with Jessica Olivares on it, and we try to tend to help the community, which that's our role, especially here with this paratransit, and especially right now during this pandemic. We're trying to help our community members as much as possible. We had an elderly lady this morning that was, let me go back. We had an elderly lady reach out to us, a former teacher. They did not have any transportation to go all the way from Mines Road to LCC campus on the south side to get her second vaccine. She had no family members or anybody to take her. She reached out through the page. They reached out to me, to Jessica. Jessica reached out to me, and I'm here daydreaming. And believe me, if I would tell you all the stories, you would say, how do you do it? But we did it. But we did it with the help of Sandy and nobody else. Why? When that lady reached out to me, I was wondering. I drove to Dallas Sunday afternoon, and I was driving back yesterday. How am I going to get on time to get that lady over there? And I'm here thinking, knowing that, this had been approved and brought by Ms. San Miguel some time back, that we were going to transport the elderly to get their vaccine done. Then all of a sudden I thought about it, and I said, let me just double check. So I called Mrs. Esparza. Mrs. Esparza was able to make contact with her, and we just, FYI, board members, this morning she was transferred from her house to the COVID place where they were given the shots, and back to her house. Now, Sandy, I could not thank you enough, because less than 24 hours where, we're supposed to make appointments, with ample time, you were able to get this lady transported back and forth to her house, and I thank you for that. It's not easy. I know we have tons of other people, but then again, that's one of the things that I'm still concerned about. This lady did not know about the services, did not know about the homebound services as well. There is still people out there, elderly, do not have the access of getting this information to their house, whether it's Facebook, whether it's the newspaper, the news media. We're still lacking somewhere down the line. We're still lacking information in English and Spanish to these elderly folks. Now,
let me tell you one thing, Mr. Avila. Adding up to what you're saying, a lot of people have called me, and I know that they had turned in some applications, but you know why they don't turn them back in? Because they're afraid that because of what they get, because some of them are retired teachers or had some positions, and they're afraid that because of that, they're not going to qualify. And I told them that that did not matter. They needed the service, and the service was there for them. Maybe in one of the flyers or something where we put Ms. Garcia, we can mention that income does not affect them.
Ma'am, I don't believe that in the application it has it or nowhere states that income is required.
There was one because a retired teacher called me. I'm not sure, but I'm bringing it up because he called me twice, and I said, pues, that will not affect you, And then but she said, no, mejor no la meto, because she was afraid that that would happen to her. And there was her brother, the same thing happened to him, and he didn't want to put it in because of that.
Income is not a
because
factor.
I know because of the other.
Eligibility.
I know income is not a factor, and I told them that. But I don't know if it's somewhere in the memos or in the flyers that we have. Does it mention that income is not a factor?
Nowhere, ma'am, in our information or lift services does it say anything about income.
Well, I don't know, ma'am. Like I said, I don't think so. But those two persons called me personally, and
okay.
I never brought it up because they said no.
Okay, on that point, Ms. Centeno, all we can do is let the customer or the client know that it does not affect them. And, I'm pretty sure administration will go over them again just to make sure that there is nothing on it, just to double check.
That's exactly what I told them.
Ms. Centeno, in the future, if you want, I mentioned it before, Ms. Centeno, if you come across customers inquiring about our services, you can always provide to them our contact information. And like Mr. Avila mentioned, you can also advise them that the eligibility process is not based on income.
I understand, Ms. Andy, and I know I'm very thankful to you because of, many services I have gotten, and not because I'm a board member, because I have needed them. And you have always been there to help out. That I can say loud and clear.
Well, again, echoing Mrs. Parza, again, I thank you, and I'm pretty sure the board, thanks you as well. On behalf of everybody, I think I can speak in behalf of all of us. That's the kind of positive notes, and as you saw, that's the email. And if you saw that lady posted on Facebook back again, mentioning your name, and that's why I sent you and Ms. San Miguel the thank you note that she put up. That is something that we want to see if we could on a daily basis. Is it possible? Yes. Is it being done? Maybe not. But that's why we need to. I still feel that lack of reaching out somehow to the elderly
because many
folks.
people don't know about the service.
It's a long battle. It's a long battle, and we'll continue working forward. We'll continue working with you. And if any other board member has any comments or anything else, I ask for a motion to be adjourned.
I so move.
Ms. Cadena, anything on your side? Let me ask you before we adjourn.
No, I think I asked enough for today.
Believe me, we've been in longer meetings than this. Mr. Escamilla,
Yes, sir. Can you hear
any
me?
questions, any comments?
No, sir. Everything's perfect. Good for me.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second?
I second this, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Second by Mr. Escamilla. All is in agreement, say aye.
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 So moved. Thank you, everybody.